May the fourth be with you. Hi, everybody. Mostly movies. We mostly discuss movies, mostly. Today, we're here to talk about, as you see, I have my standee from my days working at Hollywood Video. Rest in peace, Hollywood Video. We're here to talk about the Star Wars trilogy, Star Wars movies, and today's basically Star Wars Day. It's just another excuse for us to talk about Star Wars. And my experiences with the film go way back. I did not see the originals in theaters. Almost saw Return of the Jedi, but it was a little too young. And actually, it had to do somewhat with this guy right here. The Rancor in Return of the Jedi was a little too scary for me at 3.5, so I had to be taken out of the theater. But I caught up with it a couple of years later on video. I'd read this comic book, listen to the soundtrack over and over again, and sort of put the movie together in my head. But one of the best moments as a kid was right here when my brother Tom got this for his birthday in 1986. And my mom totally faked this out. She told us that, well, I think we got Tom a Star Wars movie. Because we were new to VHS. We had CED video discs because they were cheaper and they lost the format war by a couple of years. So we already had Star Wars on CED, and we had rented Empire on CED a couple of times from a place called Hables. It was a camera shop in Staten Island. Don't look for it. It's not there anymore. And what we basically did was, I was thinking, okay, maybe we're getting Empire Strikes Back on video. Because I think we had gotten Star Wars, or we had taped it off a TV or something, which we used to do back in the day. Because VHS tapes were actually pretty pricey. But don't worry, Disney, those tapes are long gone. And every copy of Star Wars I have, which is several, is legally, well, Star Wars Revisited, Army, Star Wars Blu-rays, and the 4K 77 project. But we won't go into that. One of our favorite Christmases is when we got this box right here, which has a few signatures on it from some Star Wars cast members. We had Dave Prowse, who was in the Darth Vader suit, Richard LaParmenter, Admiral Motti. A lot of these people are no longer with us because these were obtained in the early 2000s when I could afford to go to conventions. Peter Mayer's Chewbacca, Kenny Baker, R2-D2, and this piece here, if you see this by Billy D, there's a bit of a face, a little drawing here. What happened was Billy D was signing an autograph for the second time we met him, because we already met him once when he signed this guy. And he's signing it, his pen breaks, and we're like, oh my God. And the coolest guy in the world, he doesn't even miss a beat. He's like, I guess I'll give you some artwork. And he starts drawing this little picture on there, and I'm like, this guy is good. He's really, he's one of those people, Billy D. Williams, that he is as cool as you imagine, but he's even cooler than that. Like, you meet him in real life, and you can't believe that he's real because he's just so cool. Like, he just sits there quietly, he's chilling out, and just the best guy. So when we got that trilogy box, that was Christmas of '92, which was a great Christmas. That was the first time I saw these movies in widescreen, because I did not see them in theaters. So that was good. And then we have subsequent releases. We have, again, the video disc, Super 8. We have all kinds of releases of these films. And I believe in having every version of Star Wars that's out there, because there's more than one for some of them. These guys here, these were Malaysian bootlegs that we got in 2001 that were really a long time ago. But again, the discs are gone. I just kept the cases because the minute that it came out on DVD, I threw away the discs because I don't really believe in bootlegging. But I also believe that for cultural reasons, there are certain reasons why we need every version of Star Wars. And I enjoy every version of them. But I'm very partial to the originals. That's why I hang on to my VHS. I hang on to these DVDs that have both versions. And, possibly some other things. Star Wars Revisited and a few others. But I believe that every version is valid and every version means something. Because to George Lucas, to the creator, he only thinks of his special edition versions as the proper versions of the movies, but he doesn't understand that once Star Wars is shared with the world, everybody owns it in one way or the other. It doesn't mean that they can go in and change it. It doesn't mean that they can go in and that the film belongs to them, but when we watch the movie, there are certain memories that evoke. There are certain times that we remember in our life. And I think people are not going back to the original version of these films because they're just purists. It's not so much that they want to preserve the film or anything like that. I think it's more like they want to preserve a certain time in their life and a certain comfort in their life that we just don't have today. And it was great to see Return of the Jedi on the big screen this week for the 40th anniversary, and they played it really loud. They did a nice job at AMC. Thank God it wasn't through Fathom Events because it went off without a hitch. And this should be a sign to Disney that the film entered the top 5 at the box office. This should be a sign to Disney, hey, let's bring these movies out more often. And you know what? These filmmakers that are working on the new Star Wars from Disney, I think the problem is they're so obsessed with the canon and Ahsoka Tano and all this other stuff. And all they really need to do is look at the original 3 Star Wars films. That they were simple, they were brilliant. There wasn't 100 million characters running around. You didn't need to read this book to understand this. You didn't need to download the special video to understand that. They were simple. And the simplicity of Star Wars was something that was lost in the prequels and especially the sequels, where it becomes like these confusing Marvel movies as of late, which again started out as very simple stories. And in the last couple of Marvel movies, not only has the quality gone down, not only is it filled with all these new, silly political statements, if you will, but they lost their simplicity. Like the original Iron Man is a very simple film. And of some of the first films that they did, they were easy to follow. The new stuff is tricky. And I think that's something that moving forward, Star Wars really needs to focus on. All right. And now we're going to move on to the next segment. We're going to talk about Super Mario Brothers, the movie, which I never thought there could be a movie that could be as much fun as this game. But I have to say, Universal Studios and Universal Animation came very close with the Super Mario Brothers movie. Now, again, I'm very critical of video game movies. I always think that they're a waste of time because you'd rather be at home playing the game than sitting there watching it on a screen. But I gotta say that Illumination did an amazing job with bringing the Mario universe to life and made a film that is as entertaining as one of the games. And that's very hard to do. And I think the secret was to do it in animation. The problem I had with like Sonic the Hedgehog, with Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik and all that silliness, is you can't put Sonic the Hedgehog in the real world because he's not a real world character. He needs an animated universe to run around in. And that would give you the magic of Sonic the Hedgehog. Something really felt off in those Sonic the Hedgehog movies, and they were well liked and they did respectable business, but the Mario movie to me is the beginning of the video game genre. I don't want to say Birth of a Nation because I don't like acknowledging that film too much, but I'll say it. This is the birth of a nation for video game cinema. Everything else that came before this was like that Kiss film or, the lady walking down the staircase. This is the beginning of the genre. This is the beginning of the video game movie, and I hope they keep moving forward. Keep it in animation. Don't give me a live action Zelda movie. If you're going to do a Zelda movie, just use really nice animation and do it well. Do it right. That'll be a great idea. But this Mario movie is a movie that I would, and it's very rare. For me, the highest praise I could give a movie is that after I saw it, I really wanted to see it again. Which most movies, even movies that I thought were great last year, were movies that I had no desire to see a second time. Like I thought the Batman movie was well made and Everything Everywhere All at Once was really well made, but to me, the test of a great movie is its replay value and its repeat value. And unfortunately, most movies today are very, not that they're forgettable, but you don't want to really revisit them right away. They're not really worth the time of like, okay, I'm going to give you another 2 hours, or in the case of last year, 3 hours of my time to watch this movie again, And I really want to see more Mario movies. I want to see more video game movies if they're done well. And I think Universal has found their Marvel. They've found their Star Wars. They've found their big franchise. And Fast and Furious, I think that's theirs. That's kind of winding down. So now they can just make a whole run of Nintendo films. And if they should be so inclined, someone has treatments for Mega Man movies. You know, I'm just saying, I'm not trying to push myself out there. I mean, but, you know, who knows? And lastly, we're going to cross the streams with a film called Scream 6. Now, as you guys know, I did not like Scream 5 at all. I've been pretty nice to this series because this is a series that's a little bumpy and a little goofy. And the problem with the Scream movies is even the best Scream movies, like Scream 1 or Scream 2, the build up to the finale is so great and you're so interested. Where's this going? Where is this going? And the reveal is kind of a little disappointing or a little silly, and it gets a little hokey at the end. Even in the original is very good. But I do like the films, and I'll watch another Scream movie. The reason why I didn't see this one in the theaters, and I actually like Scream 4 too, which, oh God help me. Yeah. I'm definitely a fan when you like the ugly kids in the series. You know, it's sort of like Chucky. I like Seed of Chucky. But when you like the ugly ones in the series, you know you're a big fan. And you'll let almost anything go. Because, you know, you're a fan, you like the characters, you want to see where it goes. But I felt that Scream 5 was sort of a betrayal of all that. Like, I don't mind a bad movie in a series, but I don't like a movie in a series that just betrays what the series is, like Alien 3. I actually like Resurrection more because Alien Resurrection at least is a fun monster movie. It's not a good film in any stretch of the imagination, but it's a lot more fun than Alien 3, which is just a depressing, pretentious, boring, stupid movie that everybody likes to forgive because David Fincher went off to become a great director. Well, yeah, he's a great director, but that movie sucks. But basically, the way I feel about Scream 6 was a complete 180 from Scream 5. This movie is really good. It's the best one since Part 2. Not saying much, I know. But I have to say, the fact that they could make it that good in this, you know, compared to the last one, that was such a disaster. I thought it was the worst film of last year. And there was some pretty bad movies in 2022. But this film really, I don't even think they were even trying to win the fans back, but it's just a clever movie. It's a smart movie. Again, the reveal at the end is nowhere near as good as the build up to it. But I liked it. And I thought it was really good. I thought it was really clever. There's some good sequences. I love Randy's niece, who's the movie geek like him. And she's talking about how they kill off characters in a Legacy sequel, and she mentioned a few things in there, and I was thought, oh man, that is brilliant, very on the nose. See, all the stuff that they tried to do in the last movie that irritated me, I feel that they tried it again, and they got it right this time. So, horns up for Super Mario Brothers and Scream 6. I will probably be seeing Guardians of the Galaxy very soon, the third one. Not excited about it because Marvel has been really burning me lately. The only thing after Endgame that I liked was Spider-Man No Way Home, which was, I feel that probably was more of a Sony film than a Marvel film, because I feel that Disney is really having some issues as of late. But I'll give it a shot, and I'll let you folks know about it once I see it. There's really not much else to say. I don't think we talked about Creed 3. I probably went into that on the last video. But I'll be seeing Guardians of the Galaxy, and the review should be up soon. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye.